would like to share with you some admissions tips at the University of El Paso Doctor of Physical Therapy program. First, let me tell you a little bit about our program. We are accredited by the Commission on Accreditation in Physical Therapy Education. It is a full-time program that is delivered over 9 consecutive semesters. There are 99 credit hours in our curriculum. That means that students will be taking anywhere from 6 to 16 credits each semester, and that includes summers. Each new cohort will start the day after Memorial Day, and it includes a maximum of 74 students. Our graduate outcomes are as follows. You can see that we have had a 100% employment rate of our graduates, 100% ultimate MPTE pass rates, 95% graduation rate, and 100% of our students each year are working with faculty and exploring research during their time in the program. The admissions process goes through the Physical Therapist Centralized Application Service, PTCAS. The application is normally open the beginning of June. It varies on the actual date that it starts, but it closes October 15th, which also varies depending on if that day is on a weekend. Please see PTCAS website for specific deadlines for each cycle. At UTEP, we have a firm deadline. Our admissions procedures are applied as equitably as possible. Although PTCAS gathers the personal demographic information, we as the admission committee do not look at that information for admissions purposes. We do look at the information to help identify local students only because we have a commitment of not having less than 40% of our students being from our local region. And that is a commitment that we have made with our partners in the community that hire physical therapists. A bachelor's degree must be complete by the time the program starts. That does mean that you can apply before you have your bachelor's. You must have an overall GPA of 3.0 as you submit your application, and this includes every single grade that's attempted at all colleges and universities. So even if your university has removed a grade because you've repeated a class, PTCAS will include every single grade. The program-specific prerequisite GPA must also be a minimum of 3.0. We will accept the highest course grades if you did take other classes that would qualify for those grades. Because of COVID-19 changing the way that we had to learn during spring of 2020, we will accept satisfactory pass or credit grades for prerequisite coursework during spring of 2020. We also will accept remote learning coursework for spring, summer, and fall of 2020. We strongly suggest that all science-based prerequisite lab courses be from traditional courses, not online. You must have 50 verified hours of physical therapy observation under the supervision of a licensed physical therapist in the clinic. We prefer the electronic verification, but if you are unable to receive that, we will accept uploaded forms with signatures. You must also have 3 letters of recommendations. One of those letters must be from a PT. A PTA is not acceptable for this requirement. The others can be pretty much from anyone, excluding a friend or family member or a teaching assistant. You can use a PTA for the other recommendation. There is an application fee that must be paid to UTEP. The link is on our website. There's also an application fee that you pay to PTCAS. Please note we no longer require the GRE. Students who have degrees from a foreign country must have their transcripts verified through WES, which is the International Credential Evaluation Service. WES verification must be submitted to PTCAS. If the person graduated from a non-US or non-English speaking school, they must also take the TOEFL. That would be waived if they've received a bachelor's or master's degree from the US. If a student has graduated with a PT degree from a foreign country, they must contact FCCPT to find out what their qualifications are for getting a license here in the U.S. Each applicant must successfully complete the 38 semester hours of the required courses prior to the start of the program. We allow any 2 biology classes with labs that equal 8 semester credit hours. However, we will not accept flora-based courses like botany. We will allow any 2 chemistry and 2 physics classes with labs. They must be 2 different courses each. For example, don't take Chemistry 1 at one university and then again Chemistry 1 at another university. It must be 2 different courses. You can select your highest grades for the requirements. We require 2 courses in anatomy and physiology. These can be taken as combined AMP 1 and 2 to complete the series or as a separate anatomy and physiology course, each with labs. Each of these science courses should be 4 semester credit hours and must have a lab. We do not accept exercise physiology to count towards this requirement, and we typically do not accept courses that were taken in kinesiology, athletic training, or exercise science classes to qualify for these courses. All science courses must be from biology, zoology, chemistry, and physics departments. If for any reason you are requesting that a class outside of a science department be accepted, you must contact us at dptadmissions@utep.edu and send the course title, description, and hopefully you have the syllabus with your question justification. At the very least, you must complete the school-specific question that asks about this. Your request is not automatically approved. Also required are 3 semester credit hours of any psychology courses and 3 semester credit hours of statistics. It is recommended that your course include a NOVA, which is analysis of variance. The recommended courses that are listed here play no bearing on your application. They are courses that can help students once they get into the program. So please keep in mind all of these requirements are in semester credit hours. If a student is taking quarters instead of semesters, they need to make sure that they have the right amount of hours that is acceptable. Completion of everything that we have just talked about makes a student eligible for selection, but doesn't guarantee admission to the Doctor of Physical Therapy program. The final selection is very competitive. Each year we receive over 350 applicants, typically between 350 and 500. Any student who does not meet any of the minimum requirements will not be considered. Once the admissions team has determined that all of the requirements are completed, meaning they paid the $50 application fee, they have 3 letters of recommendation and at least one of them is from a physical therapist, they have 50 hours of observation, all transcripts have been submitted and are verified through PT-CAS. Then we will see if the overall GPA and prerequisite GPA are over 3.0. We also will look at the last 60 hours of the GPA and math and science GPA. We do not require those to be above 3.0, although it is highly recommended. But we do utilize that in our scoring of the application. We also look at the quality of the answers to the essay questions on the PT-CAS application. We look at the quality of the letters of recommendations. We also look for any extracurricular, athletic, and work activities. So be very, very clear on what you have been doing during the time that you've been in school. Research and service experience is something we also look for. And then we look at the overall review of the application folder. Any highly qualified applicants may be offered a position at any time after the application deadline. Once all applicants have been reviewed, the students are ranked according to the evaluation criteria by the admissions committee. All core faculty in our DPT program are involved in selecting the qualified applicants. And initially, we will accept 70 applicants and offer them a spot for the cohort of 70 students. If an applicant declines the offer, then the next qualified alternate is offered. We will continually communicate with the applicants through email, through PT-CAS, and all applicants are expected to respond to their email requests. Any notification of acceptance, alternate list, and denials are made through PT-CAS starting in mid to late November and continue through May. Our web page includes technical standards and essential functions that students must sign by the first day of classes. Certain disabilities can interfere with a student's ability to be able to complete the program of study and be able to practice as a physical therapist. If required, we will make reasonable accommodations. If students are asking for accommodations on exams during the program, of course, this has to go through our CAS program. If they are requiring time and a half on exams, that doesn't mean that they will also be given time and a half on documentation while they're out on clinical rotations. Please do read through the essential functions and make sure that none of these will interfere with your successful completion of the program. Reach out to us if you have questions. We are required to inform all students because of House Bill 1508, any student that has been convicted of a criminal offense may not be eligible to receive a license to practice physical therapy. The College of Health Sciences has requirements for all students who will be going out on clinical rotations. These are the requirements. Before being accepted and annually, each student must perform a criminal background check and perform a drug test. Next, I'd like to go over academic updates. because this step is very important in keeping your application active. If you enroll in any summer or fall courses after submitting your application, you are required to complete an academic update between mid-December and mid-February. During that time, you must complete 3 separate steps. First, order your updated official transcript once your final grades and/or degree postings are available, and have it sent to PTCAS. Second, update your electronic transcript inside your PTCAS application. And third, submit your academic update in PTCAS. All 3 steps are required and must be received by PTCAS before the February deadline. If you fail to complete the academic update in PTCAS or do not submit your updated transcripts, your application will be considered incomplete and you will no longer be considered for admissions, even if you have already been accepted. If you are admitted, you will also be required to submit any spring coursework you're taking. Detailed instructions for that process will be provided after acceptance. Please be sure to monitor your email closely for reminders and instructions and reach out if you have any questions. We're happy to help. As of the most recent year, here's the breakdown of costs for the program. These include just tuition and fees. Expenses are subject to change each year. To be eligible to be considered in-state, you must have Texas as your permanent address, or you must live in Texas and have worked here for at least 1 year prior to acceptance. There is an out-of-state tuition waiver for residents of the 8 New Mexico counties that border Texas. Once an applicant is accepted, they must pay a non-refundable $200 admission fee. This is basically to save your seat. The student must also pay for APTA membership, Physio U account, and financial literacy program. And of course, there are books and the prices can vary. But many of our books, we have access through the UTEP library for free. These are additional items that the student must purchase while in the program and once graduated. During the program, there are 4 full-time clinical education experiences. The first 3 are 8 weeks in duration, and the final is an internship that is 12 weeks. Our Director of Clinical Education will help to coordinate these clinical experiences for the students. There are expenses that can be associated with these clinical experiences, and these are the responsibility of the student. It may be possible for students to complete 3 of the 4 clinical rotations in their hometown. That is, if we have contracts with locations in that area. But no matter where the students complete their clinical rotations, all 4 of them cannot be done in the same regional location. We require that the students get at least 2 regional locations while they're going out on their clinical rotations. Lastly, I would like to say, if you are accepted to more than one program and feel you are a good fit for all those programs, then check the cost of the program. It doesn't make sense to spend more than you have to. Consider your living expenses, travel expenses, tuition fees, clinical education, books, prior undergraduate debt, etc. If you don't know how to manage your money, there are a ton of resources online. The APTA, the American Physical Therapy Association, has many resources at their financial resource site. There's an hour-long video by Enrich that has very good advice. All of our students are required to use the platform FitBucks for financial literacy. Jumpstart is a non-profit initiative to teach financial wellness from an early age in K through 12. These are some useful resources that can help you. That being said, thank you very much for your time here at UTEP DPT. If you have any questions, please let us know.